Gaurav, I want to take your attention to Ghulam Nabi Azad's book. In this book, he's mentioned that when Himanta was unhappy and he was tasked to pacify him, he was about to go and do that, but he was stopped by Rahul Gandhi and said, "No, there's no need to do that." And when that conversation happened, you and your father were present in that room. And because of all of that, Congress perhaps lost a fine leader in the region and had to pay in the entire, not just in Assam, but the entire Northeast. Did that conversation happen?
I don't
What was
think
the
Mr.
basis of
Ghulam
it?
Nabi Azad Saab's book is 100% non-fiction. I don't think it qualifies to be in the non-fiction category. There's a lot of romanticization in the book. I have not read the book. I've read that passage. So I don't think it is a non-fiction. And therefore, if it's a genuinely actually a fictional book, then it is up to the author's interpretation. I must say I'm grateful that when there was a leadership conflict within the Assam Congress as to who should be the leader of Congress vis-a-vis Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi or at that point of time Himanta Biswa Sharma, I must give credit to Rahul Gandhi ji for seeing Himanta Biswa Sharma, the underlying traits that we have seen in his campaign speeches over the last few months. Such a person clearly does not deserve to be the head of the Congress party anywhere in this country.
We read that you were reluctant to be a politician. Your father, has mentioned that it took a fair bit of convincing for him to, bring you towards politics. Is that true, and why so?
Yes, I must say that part is genuine non-fiction because I was pursuing a career in non-profit prior to joining politics, and I, having grown up in Delhi, I was never the one who would say, "Do you know who my father is?" I was the opposite. If people used to ask me, when my father was chief minister, so as people do in Delhi, "Oh, so who are you? What does your father do? Where do you live?" So I used to say, where do you live? I live in and around Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. Very ambiguous. You never know which part of Ram Manohar Lohia. And then they would ask me, "So what does your father do?" He works in the government. And then that would just kill the conversation. Because I always wanted to have my own identity, whether outside of politics or within politics. And I did not want to be treated differently just because somehow the other person in front of me got to know who my father was, because I wanted to have a genuine interaction. So for the longest time, I worked, when I joined the private sector, and people say, "Gogoi, Tarun Gogoi, wo Assam ke chief minister hai." Not say he's my father. And what does your father? He also in the government. So the person was like, why is this person not admitting that who his father is? And when they would, I remember in university when they found out after 2 years, they said, "What a strange chief minister's son you are." Again in Delhi style, like, अगर मेरे पिताजी मुख्यमंत्री होते तो मैं दिखाता इस कॉलेज में कि मैं कौन हूँ. हाँ, ठीक है. So, and even when I just started spending time in Assam, I used to just roam, and because having come from an NGO background, I already knew who are the good NGOs in Assam. And I used to just travel crisscross the length and breadth of Assam through my NGOs, and nobody used to know. And I used to just find out what are the issues of education, livelihood, dairy farming, fish farming, falana. So that's why my interest was in public policy. My interest remains in public policy, and politics for me became very much more attractive because in Assam, I saw politics bring about peace in a state with a history of conflict and insurgency. And that is why I spoke with so much pain during the no confidence motion on Manipur. Because in Manipur, I've seen politics bring about instability, murder, violence, rape in a region which was relatively peaceful for the last few years. So that is what brought me to politics when I understood its role in conflict and peace and stability.